Hey y'all, back with another one for the day. Continuing on with our World War II Panzer series. The model that you see here, as you go back and you look, you see the Panzer I, the Ausf I did. This is a Panzer II Ausf F. Okay, so the reason why I picked this one is because it was the last series of this particular Panzer II, and I also liked it because it was the desert. So first off, I'm going to talk about the model. This is a great model. The Panzer I, the Ausf A model that is made by Kobe, I didn't like that one. It's a pain in the butt to build. But this one was really a cool model to build. One, the turret moves very well. Comes with one officer, and he has one sidearm, that being a Luger. It has a box compartment that holds tools in it. This one has a wrench. Let me see here. The back shows the motor, opens up really well. The treads on these are better, and of course you have treads in the front. So I'm going to drop this down and close the I guess the maintenance box. It has extra tread, has one bogie. Another interesting thing is, you may note is this little channel. What this is made for is for the antenna to go down. So they could literally take this antenna down and lock it. Another thing too is the antenna was made to swing. And the reason why is because if they needed to move the turret, they were not damaging the antenna. It had to be a flexible antenna. Really great model. A lot of good detail in my opinion. But this is the F model. Now, the Panzer II, give some specs on it here. The Panzer II is the common name used for a family of German tanks used in World War II. We all know that. We've spoken about that before. This one is the Panzerkampfwagen II, abbreviated PZK PFW2. It's a light tank. Of course, origins Germany. The years of service was 36 to 45. It was designed in 1934 through 36, which we already talked about in the previous video, the Mark I. The unit cost was 52,640 Reichsmark for the Ausf B. It was produced from 35 to 44. The number built is about 1,856, excluding the conversions. The mass is 8.8 long tons. The length is 15 foot 9 inches. The width is 7 foot 3 inches, and the height is 6 foot 6 inches. Now, it was a 3-man crew. They had a commander, a gunner, driver, loader. The armor. Now, the armor was 5 to 15 millimeter. And the main armament was 2cm KWK 30 L55, and that armament was in the Ausf A through F, and that's the F model. The one, let's see, it's 2cm KWK 38 L55 Ausf. That was in the J through L. The secondary armament was 1.792 millimeter Maschinengewehr 34. The engine's a Maybach HL62 TRM 6-cylinder petrol. And it was 138 horsepower. The power and the weight was 15.7 PS. The suspension was a leaf spring. Ground clearance was about 1 foot 2 inches, and the fuel capacity was 170 liters, 45 U.S. gallons. Operational range was about 190 kilometers, 120 miles. That was cross country. Cross country was 78 miles or 126 kilometers. Maximum speed, I'm assuming from what I'm reading here, is 39.5. It's going to be on road, and off road is about 24.5. The vehicle had originally been designed as a stopgap while larger, more advanced tanks were developed. Nonetheless, it went on to play an important role in the early years of World War II. During the Polish and French campaigns, the Panzer II was the most numerous tank in the German Panzer divisions at the beginning of the war. It was used in both North Africa against the Western Allies. That's why you're seeing it in this German-African motif or design or color, whatever you want to call it. I also thought was kind of interesting is the commander, he's wearing his goggles, and if you take the goggles off, it looks like they tried to make it to where his face was worn, torn, like, you know, the dust and the dirt and everything from the desert. And against the Western, it was used in both North Africa against the Western Allies and in the Eastern Front against the Soviet Union. The Panzer II was supplanted by the Panzer III and the Panzer IV medium tanks from about 1940 to 41. By the end of 1942, it had been largely removed from frontline service, and it was used for training and on secondary fronts. The turrets of the then obsolete Panzer I and Panzer IIs were reused as gun turrets on specially built defensive bunkers, particularly on the Atlantic Wall. Production of the tank itself ceased by January of 44, but its chassis remained in use as the basis of several other armored vehicles, chiefly self-propelled artillery and tank destroyers such as the WESPE, the Wespy, or the Marder, MARDER 2, respectively. Let's see. Let's look into. Okay, so in this little write-up that I'm reading to you here, it's not to be confused with the later Ausf A. The sole difference being the capitalization of the letter A. The Ausf A was the first version of the Panzer II to be built, albeit in limited numbers. So you've got this growing evolution of the Panzer. So if you want to find out more, you can read books on it. Go online, go check out the Chieftain. But you start to see the tank is getting bigger, the tank is getting heavier, the engines are getting stronger, the guns are getting larger. So this one is the last one of the Panzer A through F. And then they had the other Panzer II, the other Panzer II model, which was a J through L. I'd have to go back and look again. But I chose this model because I just liked the way it looked. It was very distinct. I was trying to get like you know, 1942, 1943 Africa. So I think this does a really good job. Oh, it also has, well, I may not be able to do it, no. Oh yeah, this has compartments here too, guys. So, I mean, it's a lot of fun with this kind of model because you can open everything up. It's more detail. Really a great little model to have in your collection. So, this is the Panzer II I apologize. I'm too southern to speak German. Ausf AUSF designation F. This is the F model. Be back directly, y'all.